The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Aging Horizons. Today we have a very special guest with us, and we will be talking about services for veterans through the VOA, Veterans of America. So we have so much more to discuss about it, and so please stay tuned and we will be right back.
If extreme weather conditions threaten the ability to safely operate the electrical grid, energy providers will turn off power to help protect public safety. As a homeowner in the wildland-urban interface, you need to use this knowledge in your wildfire mitigation planning. Putting a sprinkler on the roof of your home is not a workable fire mitigation plan unless you have a generator. For more information, contact FireSafe Montana today. This message brought to you in part by Northwestern Energy and aired by the Montana Broadcasters Association.
Medicare loses $60 million in Montana each year, $70 billion nationally. Medicare processes 4.5 million claims a day. They don't know who your doctor is, but you do. Mistakes can happen.
Read your Medicare statements and call Montana Senior Medicare Patrol if you see anything unexpected.
1-800-551-3191. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
I was angry and upset when the doctor told me I have diabetes. I just didn't want to deal with it, the needles and the diet restrictions. But after I started to learn about it, those feelings changed. I was at risk for a heart attack caused by high blood sugar. That got my attention. I started watching my diet and making sure I got enough exercise every day. I want to be around for my grandkids, and now that I know what to do, it seems like a small price to pay.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Welcome to Aging Horizons. This is a program brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, Senior and Long-Term Care Division. I'm your host, Wilmot Collins. Today our special guest is Danielle Galowski, and she is of the Volunteers of America. Danielle, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So, what's your title at Volunteers of America?
I am a SOAR coordinator. I help folks get onto Social Security.
Okay, so tell us, how did you get started, Volunteers of America? How was it founded and all of that?
Volunteers of America is a very well-kept secret, unfortunately. It started in the late 1800s. It was fashionable back then for churches to get together volunteers to help out folks, widows and orphans and the disabled and the poor people in neighborhoods. And two brothers, William and Ballington Booth, got together and created a fairly large organization of volunteers to help folks when they could. And they went on very successfully, and as sometimes brothers do, they got into a big argument and they couldn't reconcile. So William took Salvation Army and Ballington took Volunteers of America. They separated and made two separate organizations.
Oh, wow. So what is SSVF?
SSVF, that is the program that helps folks get housing. It's a housing first program. And the philosophy is that it will stabilize folks if they get housing right now as fast as they can. Right. And then the rest of the pieces should fall in place after getting housing.
Okay. So I know the VOA, SSVF, you know, all these acronyms, Supportive Service for Veterans Family, Volunteers of America. You offer a lot of services.
Yes.
Under the VOA umbrella.
Yes.
So what are some of those services you offer?
Some of the services are Volunteers of America is all over the nation, and different organizations offer different services.
Okay.
In Volunteers of America, Northern Rockies, which is Montana, Wyoming, and South Dakota, we offer primarily veteran services since there's a huge amount of veterans in Wyoming and Montana.
Right.
And so we offer a few aging. We hold the grant for AIDS, but primarily everything else is veterans.
So I see you got rapid rehousing and homelessness program.
Yep. And so we offer the housing program, the SSVF program, and with that we offer the HVRP program, which is the employment.
Okay.
We can help folks get employment. We can help them with resumes and getting training that they might need for the first day, any tools or clothes they might need for the first day, phones.
What about a temporary financial assistance? I see you got a program, temporary financial help you give.
We do, and it's in the form of goods like phones and things like that.
Okay.
And we can do groceries, we can do other things, we can do quality of life. So if we find a home for them, we can help them with hobbies, we can help them with things that they might need beyond the basics in their homes, just to help stabilize and enrich their lives.
And what happens if you find out that one of our veterans has some mental health issues that they need assistance with? You know, you have someone to...
Yes, we have healthcare navigation, and they will help plug in vets to different services like mental health services and VA mental health services, PAC teams, there's an organization in the hospital at St. Pete's. It's for folks that frequent the ER and the BHU. We can help them with those things.
You have a case management where are they all talking to each other? Is the VA talking to St. Peter's? Is St. Peter's talking to VOA and VOA? How does that work?
We've got a very rich system of agencies, interconnected agencies in Helena. Typically, they're under the umbrella of United Way. And we all get together and through various meetings discuss folks that need that extra help.
The extensive help, okay. So I know in order to be a part of your VOA or to be a part of the SSVF, you have an eligibility requirement.
Yes.
So
at the most 80% of poverty level and anything underneath. So folks who have no income, we can help, and all the way up to folks who are working, but they may just be slipping financially.
So I know you, there's so much more to talk, but we need to take a commercial break and we will be back. So to the audience, we have so much more to discuss with Danielle. We will be talking later on about how to access these services. So we want you to stay tuned, get your cup of coffee, and get ready for more information with Danielle Dalewski of the Volunteers of America.
Sergeant Jones. Please respond. I was separated from my squad. Requesting backup. The human heart. Even at its strongest, it's a fragile muscle. Chest and arm pain, shortness of breath, are signs of a heart under attack. But 3 numbers can save a life. Dial 911 at the first sign of a heart attack. Quick response from medical experts can save your life.
I was 45 and it happened to me, a heart attack.
Dialing 911 saved Ryan's life. Now he's here and he's healthy.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
Can you say ombudsman?
Ombudsman.
Ombudsman? Doodlesman? Fortunately, you don't have to say it right to get the help of a long-term care ombudsman. If you or a loved one reside in assisted living or long-term care, an ombudsman can help resolve any issue. And these services are completely free and confidential. Now, why don't you try that again?
Ombudsman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Aging Horizons. We've been talking to Danielle Galewski of Volunteers of America. Danielle, let's continue on eligibility for our veterans who want to join the program.
Okay.
So, how do they become eligible?
Well, we have a fairly low bar for our program.
Okay.
They had to have been in active duty at least one day, and of course, being a veteran. They have had to be homeless or at risk of being homeless. They might be completely homeless or have an eviction notice.
Okay.
Also, they have to be at 80% poverty level or less.
And so how would they access the services?
Frequently, they get referred from the VA or other agencies around that know about us just by calling. We get most of our referrals from the VA.
Okay.
And they call us with the number that we will show later.
Yeah. And I see you also have a national call center number for homeless veterans, which is 877-424-3838. So, impact. What is that impact to the community?
Well, typically in Montana, we help anywhere from 250 to 500 families, individuals and families throughout Montana. We help them get off the streets or maintain their housing. With that, it cuts down on crime, it cuts down on police involvement, it cuts down on a lot of anxiety in the community. I think people feel anxiety when they see the homeless people camping. It helps people get started back in their lives again. We can help. With my department, I help folks get onto Social Security, and healthcare navigation can help them get onto VA disability, so that way it can provide a stabilizing force. Money is always a stabilizing force.
Yes, indeed.
Or we can help them with employment, which is also very stabilizing.
So is it difficult, because I know we all talk about how difficult it is to find housing around Helena and its immediate environs. So how difficult it is for you to find housing for these homeless veterans?
It can be a challenge, especially if some of the veterans have challenges in their lives that have made them difficult to house. We do have a cachet of landlords that do like us and will call us directly when they have a vacancy, which is nice. We've got those that will work with us, and they want our vets. There's also housing out at the VA, which we help them get into, because we can pay the down payment, the first month's rent, and we can pay some months' rent after that, depending on case.
Okay. So I heard you mention earlier on about getting a hookup with Social Security and all of that. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Social Security they run several programs. They run retirement programs, and as well as SSI and SSDI, and a few other programs that are a little bit more obscure, but those are the three main ones. And so they're very difficult. The process is very difficult. There's a lot of paperwork, a lot of deadlines. And so folks that are homeless, Social Security uses the mail primarily, and people without phones or without an address have a very difficult time getting onto Social Security. And so that's why SOAR coordination is really important for these very challenging populations: homeless, people who have substance abuse issues, and people who have mental illness. Those are SOAR's primary focus.
Okay. So I know some of our veterans have retired from other jobs they had, and they should get retirements from those jobs. How do you help them with that?
Frighteningly, I've had some folks that are 80 years old that have not accessed their retirement yet, and I've helped them get on to retirement, which is, disheartening, because they could have had money for 10 years or more. With the retirement, early retirement is at 62, and when somebody is age 61 and a half, I start talking to them about it, and I let them know that there is a penalty if you take early retirement, and it could be a couple $100 a month, and I let them know that up front. 66 is right now full retirement, and if the folks can possibly wait, they'll end up, not having to incur that penalty. But a lot of our folks just can't wait, and they take the early retirement. And I help them. It's one of the least complicated things I do, because I don't have to prove the disability. I just have to prove their age.
Their age, yeah, right. So, okay, we have another commercial break here with you. So to my audience, please stay tuned, get your cup of coffee, and we'll be right back.
Benefits can be complicated. Getting help shouldn't be. Montana Veteran Service Officers offer free, confidential assistance to help veterans understand and receive the benefits they've earned, state, federal, and beyond. There's never a charge, only support. Connect with your local VSO today. Call 406-324-3742 or visit veterans.mt.gov. Montana serving veterans.
Brought to you by Montana Veteran Affairs Division and this station.
It's been 27 years. I never thought I'd still be smoking, but here I am, COPD and all. I'm about to have a granddaughter. There's so much to show her, but I'm scared I won't be able to keep up like I used to. I kind of gave up on myself on quitting. But it's different now. I want to be here for her and for my daughter.
Hey, caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
How about some good old-fashioned me time for starters?
Michelle Smith, Helena.
Or maybe play a high-stakes game of volleyball with my other kiddo. Gotta teach him who's boss, I could even make my famous spinach lasagna. Never hear any complaints about that.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Hey, Mom. More lasagna, please?
Sometimes the difference between having the life-saving medications you need and going without is the premium on your Medicare drug insurance. If you're a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you may be eligible to receive help with your premiums, even if you own your home or other assets or think you may have too much income. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out if you qualify.
There you go, ma'am. See you next month.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. We have been talking to our guest, Danielle. Danielle, I'm happy you were able to join us today on this program. There are several services you have that you see our veterans come to your facilities with. What are some of those injuries that they come with?
Well, they come with, of course, their physical injuries. There's a lot of folks with traumatic brain injuries and other back injuries, physical injuries that they incurred during their service. They also come to us with a lot of mental injuries.
Right, mental health.
And two of those mental injuries that they come with are moral injury and PTSD. PTSD is really well known.
Right.
And it's a mental injury. Mm-hmm. It's the basis is anxiety and the incredible stress that they come under, especially when they're in combat.
Okay, I heard you talk about moral injury. Tell us, what is it?
Moral injury, we have PTSD, which is basically a brain injury.
Right.
Moral injury is a little bit more recent discovery. A lot of the doctors were working on trying to help the vets with PTSD, but there were other symptoms that weren't being helped by treatments for PTSD. And they did some research and discovered that moral injury is a big component. Moral injury is basically when you are compelled to do something that is against your morals, your ethics, your beliefs. Which the military does a really good job of building up and creating soldiers, but they don't do as good a job deconstructing soldiers and helping them deal with the stuff that they run into in combat. With most of us normally have a problem with hurting each other, and so the military has to help people override that so we can kill the enemy. But they don't do very well putting veterans back together when they have to deal with some of the things that they've seen. The guilt, the shame, the anger, the betrayal, the feeling of betrayal, especially if it's gone more than that and they've had to do even more things that they know aren't right.
Right. So who is vulnerable to moral injury?
Anybody is vulnerable, not even just vets. If you've been in a job where your supervisor has told you to do something that you don't believe is right, that can cause a moral injury. Children who witness domestic violence can be susceptible to moral injury because that 12-year-old little boy knows that what his daddy is doing is wrong.
It's not right. Yeah.
And he can't do anything to stop it.
So let's talk about how do we heal? How do we help our brothers and sisters to heal?
With that, it's completely faith-based. And it's not just Christianity, it's whatever your beliefs are, since moral injury is a stain upon your soul, basically, it's to help. The recovery is group. Folks, we have group support for moral injury, and peer-to-peer seems to be very, very healing for moral injury. We also have folks that can do individual counseling with moral injury. We have staff that are educated in moral injury, and they hold groups. They help folks individually, and we even have retreats in the summer. Annually. They're finished now.
Where did they go?
I believe. They went to Whitefish this year, and they went to Boulder Hot Springs. And they spend several days in retreat and just concentrate.
Yeah, right. So I don't want people to mix up PTSD with moral injury. I know there's a difference. So would you tell the audience the differences between the PTSD and moral injury?
PTSD is a reaction of things that happened to you, and PTSD can be in the general population as well. If you've ever gotten into a car accident or been part of a natural disaster or act of violence, it's the flashbacks, it's the anxiousness, it's the just being triggered in Walmart. A lot of our vets can't go to Walmart because of the crowds. A lot of them have trouble during the 4th of July as well.
Right, I was about to say that with all the fireworks.
Yep, a lot of them will go camping up in the mountains during the 4th of July because that feeling, that anxiety is so intense. And it will take them right back to the combat.
Oh yeah.
Or, you know, anything. If a woman has been assaulted, just a touch on her shoulder can take her right back to that assault. And with moral injury, it's more of that shame that if you knew what I have done, you would hate me, you would reject me.
Okay. So I see. Well, Danielle, I know we went through a lot of different topics today, and I want to thank you so much for coming on the program. And I hope we can see you again so we can talk more about all these important topics.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost at the end of our program. We've been speaking with Danielle Gillespie of Volunteers of America, and she's been giving us all the good information. So until then, we'll see you next time.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.